Hey guys, it's Ben Terry Farm. What I wanted to talk to you about today is a claim. You could almost call it a campaign slogan that I see going around a lot. And people are putting a lot of hope in this. And the claim is that if Trump is selected to be president and RFK is a member of his cabinet in some fashion, that somehow this one man, RFK Jr., is going to make America healthy again. And what I've seen, mostly what the claim is based on, is that he's going to go after the big food corporations and he's going to make sure that they take all these processed foods out of the grocery stores and wherever else they're sold in the United States. And before I get into kind of being very critical of this idea, I want you to understand that I do not come from a place of identity politics, because I do not at all support either side of the aisle, or any politician for that matter. Because the way I see the world is that individuals are the key to all of our problems. And that is that individuals must change their behavior. And so just understand that I'm not coming from a political perspective. I don't get riled up by one side or the other. And so do not assume that I have certain political ideals outside of what I say in this video. Don't automatically assume that because I'm going to be very critical of RFK and maybe a little bit of Trump that I'm a liberal, or whatever you like to call the other side. So what I want to say is that the reason why there's no way, in my opinion, that RFK is going to solve any of our problems is, for one, I believe that politicians in general are there to give you hope, keep you sitting on your butt and not actually doing something to change the situation you have in life, whatever your problem may be or whatever your perceived problems may be. And I can guarantee you that if you actually were to take serious action for any problem that you might have or issue you're seeing in the country or amongst your neighbors or amongst yourself, that you're going to have far better results than ever hoping and praying that a politician is going to do it for you. And so RFK essentially is, in my opinion, doing something that is not what I would consider free market. He's arguing that in some way he's going to put pressure on these corporations to change the products so that they're more healthy. And he says processed. Well, I can only assume that what that means is refined, a lot of chemical additives. But the thing is, at the end of the day, right now, you can stop buying these products. You can stop eating them. And it doesn't take any government involvement, and we don't have to wait to see what happens with the selection. You can just start doing it right now, and you can see the results immediately. The other thing I'm wondering about this whole thing, and why I don't really understand the perspective, and why we're putting all the hope in this, is if you found out, which I would assume anyone who's excited about the prospects of RFK getting in there in Trump's cabinet in some way, shape, or form, already knows this. If you found out that these corporations were poisoning you, and they've been poisoning your whole life through these processed foods, why would you want to continue supporting them even if they did do the right thing? You see, my thing is, I don't think that there's any ignorance involved here. These corporations, the food corporations, the major international players, they've known since they started putting these things in the food long, long ago that they're going to cause all different types of health problems, chronic illness and disease in the populations that consume them. I don't think that it's something that they're unaware of and that they're just making accidental mistakes with their ingredients. I think they've known for a long time. And so, in my opinion, something that is so evil as to know that they're poisoning you, and they continually do it despite lots of different cries from independent organizations over all the decades, pointing these things out to the public. They still continue to do it. And so why would you want to continue supporting them? That's my question. Why in the world would you ever want to give them another dime of your money when you found out that they're poisoning you? So that's one thing to consider. And as I talked about before, I was gonna make one more point on that, I guess. And the reason why is that you would think that these government agencies, which is how RFK would have to accomplish this, is by going through one of the government agencies. A lot of people assume that these agencies, they're there to protect us in some way or to help us, but they're not at all. They have absolutely nothing to do with that. In fact, it's the exact opposite. Because at the very top, all these corporations that are poisoning you through the processed foods and all the toxins, including like the factory farms, I mean, that stuff's on there as well. It's not necessarily what they're putting in the ingredients. It's literally what's coming from the farms. But they're all owned at the top by the same people that own the healthcare industry, the same people that own the military industrial complex industry. It's all owned by the same people. And so a lot of times these things go hand in hand. They know that they're poisoning you, and that's bad enough. But they look at it as a way to ensure future profits from their medical complex. Because the more processed foods you eat, the more you're going to end up going to the doctor. You're going to end up going into their healthcare system. You're going to be put on drugs. You're going to be weak. You're not going to be able to resist like the criminal takeover that's going on right now. And so that's why I don't believe that RFK is going to solve anything, because the entire industry, the entire government has been captured, and they're not working for you. They're working for international banks and corporations. And I should note, I wanted to put this at the beginning of the video, that RFK, I actually would give him a lot of credit, because for many years, I've listened to him talk about the injections, and he's made a lot of great points about the injections. And I cannot say enough about the work he's done with Children's Health Defense and preventing people from injecting their children. That is incredibly important and powerful work. It's life-saving work that he has done since he started that organization. So I don't want to come down on him too hard for that reason. But if he gets in there, honestly, it's not going to make any difference. He's just one man. The power resides in you and me and all of us, and voting with our food dollars. All you have to do is make the choice to not support these massive international food corporations anymore. That is all you have to do. Refuse to buy their product. And I think people get wrapped up in this because they start off with a false assumption, which is that there's just not enough. There's not enough of this good food, or I can't find it. But I've never seen too many people put in serious effort. We've had people over for dinner, and when they find out that everything's organic, all the ingredients are organic, everything we fed them was organic, they start asking, like, where do you find this stuff? We just can't find it. And I always think in my head, I try to explain them, I give them examples. Whether or not they do anything with it, that's up to them. But at the end of the day, you haven't looked hard enough. Now, it is true that if overnight, all of a sudden, everyone just started going to these small farms and buying this stuff, there would not be enough. But that's not how change happens. Change happens slowly and gradually. If it's happening organically via grassroots, it's going to be slow, and the farmers will have time to respond. Even the big conventional commercial farmers, they will take notice. Their profits will drop. The demand for their product will drop. The government would probably have to make sure that the ethanol and fuel was up to 50% to make up for the loss of demand just from us, the people of this country at the grassroots level, what we can do. And what would happen is that the drop of demand, they would have to take notice is, where is the demand? And the demand would be with whole food, organic food, clean food, free of toxic chemicals, additives, preservatives, and they would start making them move to that. They might be reluctant to do it, but they would have to. And that's just the power that we have. And so I really just wanted to stress on that. I've been seeing so much about this, so much hope put into these politicians, and I think it's just a major false hope. I'm trying to think of the word right now. It'd be all in vain. All your energy and all your efforts in spreading the word, trying to get people out to vote, and a rigged voting system. It's not the way to go about things. The way to go about things is to take matters into your own hand. And the beautiful thing is that you can do it. And it's not that hard. And before the whole system benefits, you will benefit first. And you'll see the changes in your life. And then you will be the example for others. And so that essentially is where I think you should be putting your hope. And it's not on these politicians, because it doesn't matter how hard he tries. The system is run by the corporations that are not going to allow just one guy to come in and completely destroy what they've taken hundreds of years to set up. It's just not going to happen. But we do have the power, so I hope that this was insightful for you. I hope I didn't trigger anyone too much, because like I said, I'm not political. This is just how I see things from my individual perspective, because I'm an individual. I'm not part of groupthink on either side. I look at the world for what it is based on my experience with this world. And then I decide what makes sense, logical sense. Look at that lanternfly. All right. So please share this message. Please share the video, and get the word out about what we actually can do, and stop putting our hope and faith into politicians. Thank you.